is episode 13 of the One-on-Ones podcast on the Field of 12 Media Network, presented by SportsBook. Now, Coty, is mid-November and things in college football are heating up a little bit. As expected, last week, bro, another top 10 team loss. Right now, I think for all these teams, winning is more important than more than ever now. Conference championships on these teams' mind, as that's the first step to making the college football playoffs. Coty, I want to start with the Oklahoma game because they lost to Baylor, and that game, man, it was crazy. It's what I expected,
really.
But from your standpoint, and I can't wait till you hear what I'm gonna say though. From your standpoint though, what did you think was gonna happen before that game, and then what are some of the things that you've seen transpire throughout that game?
I was very surprised to see how that game went about through the duration. I expected Oklahoma to win. I expected Caleb Williams to put on a show, and neither one of those things happened. I think Oklahoma's defense came into the league leading with 15 takeaways, which is super impressive. They struggled to get the ball, and not only get the ball back for the offense, but they struggled to stop Bohannon and company. I think the turning point in the game for Oklahoma was on a 3rd and 4 early in the first quarter, and the receiver had a bad drop. I think Caleb Williams scrambled out, hit him right on the numbers, and right, wrong, or indifferent, it happens, the receiver had a drop. But not only did the receiver have a drop, the kicker missed a field goal right after. And I felt like after that, Oklahoma couldn't get going. They couldn't stop Baylor's run attack from their quarterback or their running back. And man, I got to give it up to Terrell Bernard for Baylor's defense. He was absolutely everywhere. I think he had 9 tackles. I think he had 2 sacks. And that was huge for Baylor's defense because I know the last couple weeks they didn't put their best showing on film. So what a way on national TV, but hold an offense that has been lighting it up to 260 total yards. That's amazing. And I want to give it up to Baylor's defense. But the only thing I didn't like about the whole game, and I'm sure you'll probably touch on this, was at the end when the game was already over. I think it was maybe 3 seconds left, 3 or 4 seconds left. Oklahoma's whole team had already went to the locker room, and the fans had already came on the field. So it was a complete shit show and chaos. And they had to get all of those students and fans off the field. They had to get Oklahoma back on the field just to kick a field goal. And I didn't like that. Like, I think that's, it's kind of a understanding that it's like, yo, when the game's over, the game's over. Like, let everybody go their separate ways. But I heard Baylor's coach in the presser say, we wanted to get those 3 points in case of a tiebreaker coming up later on. And I'm not sure how those rules work, but that made sense to me. But I'm also looking at it from Baylor's perspective, like, yo, if you don't want us to put points up on the board, then stop us. It's that simple. And Oklahoma didn't do that all day. So I was very surprised how the game played out, but I don't want to take anything from Baylor because Baylor came to play and they kicked Oklahoma's ass. So I want to give all the credit to Baylor, and Oklahoma has to respond, man. But I was definitely surprised how that game played out. How did you feel?
I say the only thing that I was surprised about from that game was Caleb Williams not playing well. Him throwing those 2 bad interceptions, and I'm like, my goodness, like, why is he even like just get rid of the football? I did not expect that of him.
The game was too fast
for the first time this year. He looked that way for the very first time this year. But going into this game, I said to a lot of people, I looked at Oklahoma a few weeks back against Kansas when they struggled with that zone read, that running back of Kansas and the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And I said to myself, okay, Baylor's one of the better rushing attack teams in college football. So I said before the game, I was asked, do you think this Oklahoma defense can stop the rushing attack of Baylor? You want to know what my answer was?
Hell no.
Nope. Nope, because I seen what previously had just happened against Kansas. And one thing I do know, Coty, and you play defense.
Yes, sir.
If that happens to you 1 week, 2 weeks later, it's hard for that to get fixed in 2 weeks now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's no way they're going to be able to get that fixed.
That's a deficiency on your team.
Yeah.
And for the fans, not to cut you off, but I just want to throw this out there. For the fans that didn't see the game, Baylor's quarterback averaged 11.4 per clip, and their running back averaged their quarterback averaged 11.9 per clip, and the running back averaged 7.4 per clip. You're not going to beat anybody doing that. Baylor didn't even have to throw the ball.
Nope.
And that just goes to show when you have a deficiency, that shit is real. And
it's going to get exploited. It's going to get exploited.
People are going to keep attacking you in that way until you prove that you can stop it.
And Baylor's running back, Abram Smith, the man had 20 carries for 148 yards. The quarterback, Gary Bohannon, had 9 carries for 107 and 2 touchdowns. As a team, they rushed for 296 yards as a team, as an offense. I don't know how you're going to – I don't know what you're going to do with that. But I knew they was going to run that zone read. I knew they even had some option plays in there. I knew that was going to happen. But this Baylor defense, man, and it's been a story for them all year. They haven't been able to answer the bell. They just haven't, especially when it comes to stopping the run. Now, on paper, numbers-wise, coming to the game, they were decent stopping the run. But I say this, that's maybe a few cases where I say numbers can be deceiving, because I've seen them get gashed in the run game over and over again this year, right? So, but the Oklahoma defense is just, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fare up against Oklahoma State at the end of the year, because they have a running back named Warren, who is pretty damn good as well. So I just don't know how that's going to go. Spencer Rattler came in. People thought, I actually thought, okay, Spencer Rattler has sat down for all this time. He lost his job. He's going to come in and give him a spark. He's going to be Johnny on the spot. He's going to be Superman. He's going to come in there and save the day. Oh, no. He wasn't too much better. In that end of the game, I 100% agree with Coach Dave Aranda, the head coach of Baylor, right? If it comes down to a tie in the Big 12, I need every advantage I can possibly get to make sure we are the Big 12 champions.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I mean? Or the team to go to the Big 12 championship, if it comes to that. Absolutely. So Lincoln Riley was upset about it. What he should have been upset about is his team not being able to stop that damn run. That's what he should have been upset about. Not a coach trying to kick a field goal because he wants an advantage if it's a 3-way tie. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to hear, hey, if that was me, I wouldn't have done it. Then that tells me that you wasn't viewing the entire game and the entire situations of your team. I applaud Coach Dave Aranda because he understood every situation of his football team coming into that game.
He was looking at the picture.
Exactly.
And you got
to respect it. And you got to respect it.
I think college needs to get that under grips of letting people on the field. I totally support people coming on the field, but you have to protect the safety of the players first, and let that opposing team get off the field or get to the locker room.
Well, in a COVID era, still too. That's the
don't touch me.
That's the part I don't understand.
Right. That's a lot of people running onto the field at one time. You know what I'm saying?
My jacket.
For real. Get my mask. I want to be safe. Because it's, because think about it. How tough would that be for a player to play a whole game, make it through the game safely, and ended up bumping into somebody after the game because they're rushing the field, and you end up testing positive for COVID and then missing next week's game. I know that's a crazy hypothetical, but in 2021, it's really not that crazy because you don't know who has what and what they have going on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people don't wash their damn hands. That's the damn problem that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you, those fans out there ain't washing their hands.
My dog said a lot of people out here just nasty.
Just nasty, man.
Just nasty.
But shout out to Baylor, man. Shout out to Baylor.
Oh, yeah, man. And I like Baylor's team overall as a whole. They're well coached. Dave Aranda, and I said this, a lot of people forget that Dave Aranda was at LSU as a defensive coordinator in 2019 when they won that championship. Mm-hmm. And they played Oklahoma in the semifinals game here in Georgia, and they thumped them. Now, I understand they had Joe Burrow at the quarterback position, but their defense also shut down at the time a high-powered offense led by Jalen Hurts.
Yes,
And
sir.
Dave Aranda was behind that. So now he just copied and pasted. Now, it's not the same thing, but he copied and pasted some things because he understood that offense because he had just seen them when he was at LSU. So shout out to Dave Aranda and that game plan.
Yes, sir.
Before we continue to the next topic, if you're looking for ways to skip the trip to the post office or to dodge all the hectic holiday shopping traffic, why not save time and money with Stamps.com? Stamps.com lets you compare rates, print labels, and access exclusive discounts to UPS and USPS services all year long. It just makes sense, especially if your business sends more mail and packages during the holidays. Whether you're selling online or running an office or a side hustle, Stamps.com can save you so much time, money, and stress during the holidays. How? Listen, by allowing you to access all the post office and US. Here we go again. By allowing you to access all the post office and UPS shipping services you need without taking a trip, and you get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS. In 2021, if you're still going to the post office instead of using Stamps.com, it's like taking the stairs instead of using the elevator. Just going up a couple of floors, sure, take the stairs. Walking up 30 flights a day, you can use a break. And if you spend more than a few minutes a week dealing with the mail and shipping, Stamps.com is a lifesaver. You'll save so much time, money, and you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. So join Stamps.com now and save time and money this holiday season and sign up for the promo code one-time special offer that includes 4-week trial, free postage, and digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code 1. But now we're going to move on to the next game. Michigan gets past Penn State, and a lot of people say, well, Penn State's not a good team. You crazy as hell. Penn State is a good football team. Penn State was, yes, bro. They have a DN over there, man, Ibakiti, who's made himself a lot of money this year. The man can play. But Michigan got 2 of them on their own. But this was one of the better games of the day. A good, hard-fought Big Ten, battle. And I think the running back for Michigan, Haskins, stepped up big time for his team in the absence of his dynamic duo partner, Blake Corum. He was out with an injury. Man, that man had 156 yards. And I was impressed as well with the quarterback of Michigan, Cade McNamara. I thought he showed up at key moments, man, and really helped his team. And a key play in that game, the go-ahead touchdown for Michigan, right? It was man coverage. Penn State played man coverage. Michigan ran some shallow cross pick routes. And the guy that was guarding the tight end, Eric All, got picked off, and he took it for about 45 plus, I believe it was 47 yards for a touchdown. But like little plays like that. But when we talk about Michigan, though, and I'm trying to hurry up and get through this offense because I want to talk about these 2 defensive ends. They have a defensive end, David Ojabo, and then they have another one, Aiden Hutchinson. Right now in college football, Ojabo has 10 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson has 9. In that game against Penn State, they had 5 combined. Them boys are basically becoming unblockable.
They're taking turns. Who wants a sack this time? Between the 2, that's what it looks like they're doing.
Bro, and if they're not getting a sack, they're pressuring the quarterback. They're dominating offensive linemen. I seen this firsthand against Michigan State. I seen it during this game. And not to jump ahead, they have Ohio State next week. I think it's next week. Yeah, Ohio State next week for rivalry week.
They can disrupt the game.
Listen, if Ohio State can get them blocked the right way next week,
you won't get to see the talent of those receivers and that quarterback. They'll be non-existent. Those two young men can take over a game. Go ahead.
And I just like what I see from them because when you think about, okay, as a team, this team gonna be dominating. What I like about Michigan right now, they run the football very well effectively. So they're winning the line of scrimmage, not just offensively, but you go to the other side where you have those 2 ends, they're dominating the line of scrimmage defensively. And that's a recipe of great football, especially when you play in Michigan in the Big Ten. When the weather gets cold, the weather may be a little sloppy. So now you got to rely on your D-line. Then you got to rely on the run game, your offensive line. That's where that pays dividends at. And like I said, Cade McNamara just has to be efficient and not losing the game. And he's been doing good because they have a guy over there behind them that they really want to play, but he's really making it hard for them to play him because he's just been so good this year for this Michigan team.
Man, those two DNs from Michigan are so big for that entire team because you mentioned earlier they have 19 sacks combined between each
Yep.
other, or 19.5, I think.
Yep.
When you have guys that are able to create negative plays and get the offense behind the change, that changes everything for offense because they go from 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7 to 2nd and 15, 2nd and
Yep.
16. And being honest with you, as a defense, when you get people behind the chains like that, the down is damn near over. Like all you got to do is basically be consistent and not give up a big play. But those guys are playing amazing, and I would love to not play for, but play with some DNs like that when I was a corner because it changes everything for the entire defense. But a turning point for me, Penn State came out on fire.
They did.
Out of their first 6 third downs, they were successful on 4 of them. They ended up being 7 for 21 on the day in 4th downs. So they came out on fire. But what I hated to see when they came out on fire, if you look at the first quarter, Penn State's offense ran 33 plays.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan ran 6. You would have thought that game should have at least been a double-digit lead for Penn State. It was 3-0. You can't dominate the clock like that and not come away with points.
Yep.
Like, because it's like it's in vain. Like, you dominated the clock, you gained all that yardage, and you have nothing to show for it. And there was a 3rd and 13 that Michigan converted on a simple screenplay to the running back.
Yes.
For some reason or another,
Yes.
number 12 for Penn State did a great job pursuing, and instead of simply wrapping his arms around him and tackling the running back from Michigan, he tried to shoulder bump him down. Like, that running back isn't a grown man as well. And he bounced off of him like a basketball on the concrete. And Michigan went on to not only get a first down, but score a touchdown on that drive. And because like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about being behind the chains. 3rd and 13 for a lot of teams is give up football. It was give up football for Michigan.
That's why they ran. That's why they ran a screen.
That's why they ran a screen. So
it's a safe play.
It's a safe play to just say, get us out of this area. Don't turn the ball over. We live to play another down. Let's punt and try to get field position. When I seen number 12 for Penn State try to butt that guy down with his shoulder, I cringed because plays like that change everything. Yep. Michigan went from just trying to be safe and punt the ball to going up 7-3. And when you're dealing with a team like Michigan, especially that can rush the passer the way they can, you don't want to give them any opportunities to take the lead because they're going to have you playing behind the chains.
Yeah.
You know, I'm interested to see them in Ohio State, whether it's this week or next weekend. I'm not sure which one it is.
Yes, it's next weekend.
It's next weekend.
Yeah, because Ohio State got Michigan State this weekend, and next week.
Those are 2 staple weeks for Ohio State where they can solidify themselves. But also for Michigan and Michigan State, they can up their ante and be like, look at what we just done. But those 2 DNs for Michigan are amazing, man. I love watching them play. They remind me of Bosa and Melvin Ingram.
For the Chargers?
Yeah, for the Chargers. They remind me of Bud Dupree and TJ Watt a couple years ago. Like, when you got guys coming off the edge like that, man, it's hell for them tackles, and they can really wreck a game. So Michigan has a chance to end up where they want to be, specifically because of those 2 guys.
And for my Michigan fans out there, this is what Jim Harbaugh was brought in for. I'm talking about John. Jim Harbaugh was brought in for, right? He was brought in to have Michigan in the position that they're in right now, yes, right? To be a top 10 team. Possibly it's going to come down to the Ohio State game for them to whether they go to the Big Ten championship. And then if they do that, they got a chance to win the Big Ten championship and go to the college football playoffs. This is what they brought Jim Harbaugh in to do. Not all the other stuff he's been doing the rest of the years. These moments right here. So it was good for Jim Harbaugh to get that win and climb another hurdle for this Michigan team to have the hopes of going to the college football playoffs as well.
Yes, sir. And now a quick message from our sponsors over at BetterHelp. Is there something that is preventing you from achieving your goals or interfering with your happiness? If there is, let me tell you guys about BetterHelp. Professional help done securely online. Check out betterhelp.com/TBS. BetterHelp will assess your individual needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist to allow you to connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient. You can start communicating in less than 48 hours. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's an avenue to accessing professional therapy without having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp has licensed professionals who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, as well as relationship and grief counseling. You can message your counselor at any time and get timely, thoughtful responses. Please, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. Find the particular expertise you need online. Don't limit yourself to the counselors located near you, and do it in a manner that is more affordable than traditional offline counseling. Financial aid is also available. So many people have been using BetterHelp now that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get off your first 10% by visiting betterhelp.com/ones. Join the 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ones today.
Now, the next game I want to touch on, Ole Miss beat Texas A&M, and I did not see this coming, Coty, 100%, because the Ole Miss dominated this game from start to finish. I was most impressed with the offensive line of Ole Miss dominating the defensive front of Texas A&M, because I thought Texas A&M and their defensive line was going to be the game changer in this matchup, right? That's what I thought. Yes, with Leal, with Clemens and Tyree Johnson. I thought they were going to dominate this game in a fashion to where Ole Miss couldn't even hang around. But I will tell you this, and I got to give credit to Lane Kiffin. The tempo, I was at this game. I was actually at this game on the sidelines. The tempo that he played with did not allow that defensive line to become a factor.
Right.
And that's one thing tempo does. Tempo allows those big boys up front. They're going to get tired, man. They're not wired to go fast constantly over and over again like that. So,
but on the body, man.
Boy, them running backs though, Jerrion Ely. Oh my goodness. When I'm talking about he was punishing people at the end of his runs, there was times when he wouldn't even get touched going through the line. But when he got to that second level and they was trying to tackle him, he was punishing them.
Ole Miss had a 3-head monster Saturday, man.
Yes, all three of their backs. And I'll tell you, at halftime, it was still a game at halftime, but honestly, Ole Miss should have been up by probably 28 points.
And they were up 15-0, and they could have been up even more.
It could have been up easy. I was also impressed with the defense of Ole Miss, who
they was the best defense on the field.
Who struggled against the run against Arkansas, who struggled against the run against Alabama. And coming into this game, Texas A&M, their run game is what had propelled them the last 2 or 3 weeks going into that game. And Spiller had a decent game. He had over 100 yards, but I think they should have went to Alchain, the other running back, earlier, because he's a little hit it and go. Spiller was dancing a little too much, and I see they was backed up right in the end zone. They ran a run play, and he dancing, and I'm like, why is he dancing? And you're backed up and got a safety. You know what I mean? So I think after that, that's when they went to Alchain. So you know what? We got to get somebody who's gonna hit this thing and go. But I was impressed with Ole Miss, and they're moving up in the rankings. And they keep winning, man. They have a chance to play for playing a New Year's Six Bowl, which would be big for Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels.
And I think it really came down to Ole Miss run game. They really beat up Texas A&M, and I wasn't expecting that because Texas A&M defense had been playing at an elite level. You know what I'm saying? And Ole Miss defense showed up as well, man. They ended the game with 2 picks, a huge pick 6. And I mean, as an offensive player, I know as a defensive player, if you can score a touchdown on defense, that changes everything, because that gives your offense and special teams more of a runway. Like it's not only hard to get the ball on defense, but when you get the ball and score, like, man, you playing with house money. So it was good to see Ole Miss defense be the best defense on the field, but it definitely caught me by surprise. But that three-head attack that Ole Miss put on Texas A&M, man.
Yep.
Future teams playing Ole Miss, if you don't get that under control, you're going to have your hands full
Oh,
because
yeah.
those guys are fresh and they're coming at you downhill every single play.
I did think Texas A&M quarterback Zach Calzada, I didn't think he did a good job in this game of delivering the football to guys. He missed on a lot of throws, man. I remember they were down in the red zone and Watermeyer, their great tight end, was one-on-one, right? Threw to the end zone, literally threw the ball out of bounds. And I'm like, yo, this is a big-bodied guy. Just throw it around him. Give him an opportunity. It's another time in the middle of the field, he had a receiver open on a deep end cut. He just threw it over the receiver's head, wide open. I was like, man, then he had another one to the flat where he threw it over the receiver's head in the flat. So he didn't have his best game. And I think they say he was a little banged up, but hey, you out there, man. People expect you to make them plays.
If the film is rolling, it count, man. They don't want to hear nothing about your ankle, your foot, your finger, your ear, you and your girlfriend beefing. They don't want to hear nothing about that. When you step inside them lines, expected to put the best product of yourself. That's the reason why you're considered an elite athlete and, trying to get to the next level, the highest of the high.
Now I'm excited, man. I get to head to Columbus, Ohio this weekend, man. I get to cover the Ohio State, Michigan State game. But last week, Ohio State beat Purdue, and here they come, man. Here they come. And I think, Coty, this team, man, just has weapons.
Their offense is beautiful.
Bro.
Their offense is beautiful, man.
At halftime, they was up 45-17 at halftime.
They scored their first 7 possessions.
Crazy.
That's unheard of. But
CJ Stroud, bro. CJ Stroud is playing a good brand of football. 31 for 38, 361 yards, 5 touchdowns. But their two running backs, Myra Williams had 117 yards. TreVor Henderson, who I think is the unsung hero for Ohio State's team. He had 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the three amigos, I gotta talk about the three amigos. I love me some wide receivers, baby. The three amigos. Garrett Wilson, 10 receptions, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns receiving, 1 touchdown rushing, 51-yarder. Chris Olave, 9 receptions, 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 9 receptions, 139 yards, 1 touchdown. Whew, I don't know how you're going to deal with it. And I'm telling you right now, and their defense actually got some stops, but their defense is not where accustomed to Ohio State being.
At all.
But I'm telling you this right now. This offense, if they can fine-tune some things, they can give any defense in the country a run for their money.
And that's something that I want to talk to you about because the weapons they have at the skill position, I'm going to be honest with you. If they can find a way to protect their quarterback against, if they was to play Georgia, if they could find a way to keep that D-line and those linebackers off their quarterback and their run game just be average, those receivers is going to carve up any secondary in the country. They receivers will light Georgia corners and safeties up. Because
that's why I think though, like when the rankings come out and you see Georgia had 1, Ohio State at 4, Georgia probably looking like, damn.
I think that's the worst possible matchup.
Man, what? We getting penalized for being number 1.
Because, bro, when you got 2 running backs that can give you 7+ a clip, and then you have 3 receivers that can give you double-digit receptions and anywhere from 100 to 200+ receptions and multiple TDs, as a defense, I don't know how you match up with that. I just don't. And their quarterback is getting better every single week. And he's a freshman, for those out there that don't know.
Yep.
And it's just like they have weapons on call. Like, how do you want it this specific day?
I'll give it to you from this perspective. So last weekend, Garrett Wilson was out.
Yes.
Okay. Your third string just go for crazy numbers. Like your third receiver.
Did he go for like 240?
Yes.
It's like
it's crazy, man. But it's a luxury to have, man, if you're on that team, if you're on that offense. Now, the only thing I would say with Ohio State, and they did a great job of it versus Purdue, but moving forward, I need them to be better in the red zone, right? They move the football down the football field. They need to be better in the red zone offensively, because I think they can move the football up and down the field on just about anybody. But when you get in that red zone, you got to get 7. You can't be selling for 3. But I think, top to bottom, have the best arsenal offensively of anybody in the country, of any team.
I don't think it's even close, man. And their offense is so explosive and so good. Their defense just has to be average.
Yeah.
If their defense can just be average, and I think when the rubber meets the road, I think their defense is going to be the reason they don't achieve everything they possibly could.
Oh, of course.
Their offense is there, man.
And like you said, if they defense, like you just said, if they just decent, like no one's asking them to be great. Right. But then again, you can't, like they playing Michigan State this weekend. Okay, Michigan State has some.
Walker beat you.
Michigan State has some guys at the receiver position too, and a running back that's up for the Heisman. So if you're not on your P's and Q's, it can possibly be a shootout.
But if you don't want that to happen.
No, but if you can get stops here and there, you know what I mean, or not allow touchdowns and force field goals, then you're good, because your offense gonna make up for it.
Absolutely, yeah, man. So I'm interested to see how it plays out these next 2 weeks, because obviously these is all hypotheticals. They have to take care of business with Michigan State and Michigan.
Coty, I'm staying for that one, dog. Listen, I'm staying for that game. I got to see that one up and close and personal. I got to see what the 3 amigos gonna do. But then I look at Michigan State. They have 3 amigos in the wide receiver position. They have a Heisman running back. I can't wait to see this game at 12 noon on Saturday. College game day gonna be there. I can't wait to see people.
I wonder why, because to me, and I'm sure you'll probably say the same thing, I think this is the biggest game next weekend. Why do they have it at a noon kickoff? I wonder why.
It's a Fox game. No, it's not. It's an ABC game. It is an ABC game.
Whoever the hell playing at 7:30 or 8 p.m., they actually need to go to noon and let Ohio State and Michigan State rock, man, because for the fans who haven't seen these two teams, it's a beautiful sight to watch offensively.
Yeah.
Like this,
but I will say though,
to watch.
I still think a lot of people gonna watch it still, because a lot of people anticipate the 12 noon games too.
That is right.
You know what I mean?
That is right.
So a lot of people go, bro. I can't wait to be there, bro.
Man,
Ohio State fans, I want to see y'all out there game day. I want to see y'all excited. I want to see y'all screaming. I'm even gonna wear some colors to represent y'all this week.
Hey, don't let him lie to y'all, man. That red and black represent the ATL.
I'm even gonna wear some colors to match Ohio State.
Don't forget Louisville is red and black too. So don't let him lie to y'all, man. But it's gonna be a hell of a weekend for college football, man. It's gonna be a chance for both teams to make their claim of why they need to be in that top 4.
Yep. So you said top 4. Let's go ahead and go to the college football playoff rankings, man. UGA number 1, Bama number 2, no question. Mm-hmm. Oregon still number 3. They got the head-to-head over Ohio State. Therefore, Cincy still 5. Nothing changed from last week, but I do want to focus on something, though. 2 things I want to focus on. Cincinnati. Houston has moved up to be ranked 24th now. They have an opportunity to play Houston in the championship game. If they make it, they have a tough game this week against SMU. So this game against SMU is going to tell us a lot about Cincinnati. And if they make it to the championship game and Houston makes it, that's going to tell us a lot about Cincinnati as well. And another thing I want to note, Wisconsin is playing a damn good brand of football right now. They ranked 15th. And Wisconsin has an opportunity to play, spoiler alert, they make the Big Ten championship game because their defense is solid. Just say, man, one of these teams, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, they make it to the – well, those are the only 3 that can make it to the Big Ten championship game. Mm-hmm. That's not no easy game. And by the time that happens, Wisconsin will probably be a top 12, if not a top 10 team. Yeah. So that's also good for people like C.J. Stroud, Kenneth Walker III, who's up for the Heisman. You know what I mean? That could be another Heisman game for those 2 guys, whoever makes it. So I'm telling people, don't sleep on Wisconsin.
And I think it's a big week for Oregon, man. They got Utah, and I want to say Utah is 23, but Oregon is playing with fire with all these Big Ten teams playing each other at the end of the year. Like Oregon
and Cincinnati rooting for them to lose that one against Utah.
Not only does Oregon need to win, but I think they need to show these voters, like, listen, this game we beat Ohio State a long time ago, earlier in the year, like, this ain't it. We still trending upward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think they need to win in a nice fashion this week, because no matter how it goes down between Ohio State and Michigan State, they both top 10 teams.
Yeah.
That's willing and capable. And then not only that, but like, if Ohio State beats Michigan State and then beats Michigan next week, like, it's going to be hard. I understand Oregon beat them earlier in the year.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Hey, they jumping Oregon.
You know, like, you gotta respect what they're
jumping Oregon. And I will say this: they win those. They beat Michigan State, who was a top 10 team. They beat Michigan, who was a top 10 team. And then by the time they play Wisconsin, at the time, who probably would be a top 10, top 12 team, I may jump them to number 2.
They might be
ahead of Alabama. And I understand that means Alabama would have beat the number 1 team in the country, but still, they might off the eye test. Yeah, because you look at you played 3. You would probably have beaten 3 top 10 teams in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and
that's banking on Wisconsin. That's banking on Wisconsin.
Top 10 teams.
Exactly.
And they just dogged them, you know. So, like, man, Ohio State can write a hell of a story.
Yeah. These last
few weeks. So, Oregon, better be careful out there. Yep. Don't be tiptoeing. You could go undefeated the rest of the year and find yourself in that number 4 slot. Or
what they already got a loss to. Oregon already got one.
But I'm saying moving forward.
Oh, like, yeah. I got you.
Like, don't just hang your hat on that win against Ohio State back in September. Like, you need to show.
You better be a trending topic, like Future would say.
Right.
So the last thing we got, Coty, man, Bet Rivers, we got these games right here. Georgia Tech faces Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 16.5 favorite in that game. Mm-hmm. I think the over-under is 60 in this one. Now, I'm taking Notre Dame. I don't know if I want to take those 16.5. That's a lot of points. And Notre Dame right now, at one point, they didn't look good this year. They were still winning, but they didn't look good. Now they're starting to figure out things. The last 3 or 4 weeks, they're figuring things out. They had this identity. Run game is on point. Better offensive line play. So Notre Dame is actually looking better. I'm gonna say they're gonna win. I don't think they're gonna win by 16.5. So I'm gonna go with the under in this game.
I'm right with you with all that, bro. I'm Notre Dame under. I don't see those 2 teams covering that spread.
And the last one we got, Virginia at Pitt. Pitt is a 14.5 favorite. The over under is 66. Now I'm gonna go with the over in that one, and I'm gonna go with Pitt actually winning this game by 14, more than 14.5. I think they're gonna win it. I just love what Kenny Pickett is doing. We had a chance to talk to him this weekend on radio this weekend. So he a solid dude, man.
That's what's up.
Solid guy.
I'm with you on that. I'm going Kenny Pickett and the Pitt Panthers, and I'm going over. They've never had trouble putting up points, and hell, Virginia hasn't had trouble putting up points. So, with their quarterback, Brennan. So I expect that to be a high-scoring game, but I expect the Pitt Panthers to take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Episode 13 is in the books. Make sure y'all join us next week, because we're going to probably have some more craziness in college football this weekend. We don't know where it's going to be at. Trust me, there's going to be some. So make us say we told y'all something. Make sure y'all join us next week. We out.
Appreciate y'all. Episode 13.